Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Radar Mode on Pakistan Connect. So as a PF veteran and as an instructor, is Pakistan ready for 5th generation aircraft?
Absolutely. The problem is obviously the ecosystem. That has more than half we have solved that, right? Other problem is hardened aircraft, shelters, climate control, etc. What I have heard, projects are underway, obviously, right? So Pakistan is ready for J-35 in a year or so, maybe 2026, 2027, my guess. However, using 5th generation in that complete network-centric warfare like we use J-10C, obviously, I mean, as a pilot, I know very well that even if it comes in 2027, give it at least a year and a half. At least. Absolutely, right? If it comes in 2028, again. So once people say, okay, 2030, as if you're saying that it will land in 2030 in Pakistan, I don't agree with that. It will land before that. However, if you're saying that we can operationally, absolutely, then obviously, then I agree with that 2030 also, because 5th generation is something, I'll say, a leap for air forces like us. I mean, in USA they were using in 1989 the F-117 Nighthawk was bombing Panama. In 1991 Gulf War, first Gulf War, right?
Got shot down over Bosnia while the Kargil was happening.
That was like a big thing. SA-2, old missile, and that Colonel Zoltan of Serbia.
It was a story. We covered this, but it was a remarkable affair in air defense.
So now F-35 to a lot of European countries, NATO countries, etc. China has J-20, J-35. Indo-Pak scenario, obviously, I'll still call it a leap. But as I said, because now China is your iron brother and all that, and etc. So it's not that difficult for us that they send a team with that, and then they tell you for 6 months, for 1 year, okay, so this is how you're going to maintain, this is all that. For that time, the aircraft is maybe not combat capable, but I'll not say that it's that big of a deal, because we are not getting it off the shelf and then the Chinese will say, okay, you are on your own, right? So you have to try to understand the relationship.
It's a symbiotic relationship between
then obviously, because once the deal is finalized in J-10C also, my younger brother, like he's a J-10C pilot, he went to
Mashallah.
So China, and those 20 pilots, they trained there, engineers trained there, etc. So again, saying that Pakistan Air Force pilots, engineers, technicians, they don't know how to handle 5th generation aircraft. Once the deal will be signed, a team of technicians, engineers, pilots, they will go. People say pilots are already training there. I don't think so, but I don't know about that. However, I think that it's, again, as I said, not big deal. 6 months, 8 months, maximum 1 year, you go there, your engineers will just completely learn everything, how to maintain a 5th generation. They'll come back and then they will train others. This is how it works. So why would people think that Pakistan Air Force will just buy from the store toy and bring and then think about it, okay, how to fly it, how to maintain it?
So we're not Indians. So when just observing the US Air Force integration of 5th generation aircraft, partially the Russians, but the Chinese in a huge way, the 500 plus numbers they have. In a nutshell, what kind of a transition are we looking at? What are the key points in this transition towards a 5th generation? What are the considerations? What needs to be managed?
Actually, 5th generation, people only think that it's stealth, low observability. I think more important thing is sensor fusion, data fusion, etc. Alhamdulillah, that network-centric or multi-domain operations, we are already far ahead than Indians in that. We have our own tactical data link, and Chinese, that system, it has, if they give, I don't know if they are going to give us complete source code or not, but integrating it in our system is not going to be that difficult to. So that sensor fusion, data fusion part, that's not a big deal. I think issue is with, obviously, that 5th generation needs some special maintenance. After every mission, you have to check that RAM coating, etc. And you need climate control hangars. You cannot park it like outside in open, etc. So I think that is more important for that. Otherwise, apart from that, I don't think there is anything other which is going to hinder its performance. Sensor fusion, data fusion, stealth is flying, maintenance. If that is done, I cannot think of anything else.
So what about training? How it blends into the entire the architecture of the of the fleet? How is it packaged? How is it deployed? Are there differences in how would be a difference in approach towards deployment of these?
I think
and using them in battle.
Yeah, so the issue will be for Indians. Like for now, I cannot go inside Indian airspace because of S-400 or all that. But after J-35, if I decide, I mean, India has always been the aggressor, so we are always on defense. I don't know whether we will change it or not. But for example, if I decide that okay, I'm going inside, or the Indian dialogues like "Khuske marenge," etc. So you have the option. Number one, the doctrine will change or not. That needs to be seen. It's far above my level. Secondly, training initially, once you are sending your senior pilots on J-35, it will not be that difficult for them because JF-17, J-10C, J-35, a lot of similarities in their. I mean, they say that JF-17 has J-10 DNA. So many similarities. So senior pilots, they can easily, maybe 6 months, 1 year after that conversion, they can fly that. However, it's another good question because in the long run, I think Pakistan Air Force will need that lead-in fighter trainer, which obviously gives you training about active ESA radar and all that. Because 5th generation sensor fusion, data fusion, if a pilot directly, a junior pilot who is not experienced, he comes in that cockpit, that's a huge jump. So initially, I think only senior pilots will be allowed, maybe J-10C pilots, maybe F-16 pilots who have already maybe 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 flying hours. But once you need more pilots and conversion of junior pilots, then I think the bridge, that advanced trainer, which is missing. Otherwise, if we cannot buy L-15 or any other lead-in fighter trainer, then obviously you can just say that there is this threshold, which was done with F-16 also, that once F-16 was a super hot aircraft, and there was like a cap of a criteria of, I don't remember, I think 500 hours, or before that you could not go on F-16. So you are flying F-7, Mirage, A-5, and once you are above that threshold, only then you can, if your name comes in that conversion, you can go to F-16. So I think by the time Air Force, until they have those simulators and those systems and everything, they'll just say, okay, fine, we are not going to send flight lieutenant of this much experience. So only Sqn Ldr and above with 1,500 hours, 2,000, just like a figure of speech maybe.
So whenever we're short of equipment, we just ratify the pilots more.
Yeah, this is how. Otherwise, you don't have any option. Like, I mean, a pilot, he thinks that he's going on leave, and you have an issue with Iran war that okay, the oil is not coming, and now I have POL of so many days. So this pilot, maybe he'll not be able to fly next week. So cancel his leave and tell him to fly simulator 8 hours daily, so that his professionalism is not below par. So petroleum, if not available, that pilot's leave is gone.
Cancelled.
So kind of those things.
So the PF pilot is not the glorious ke ghar jaake chahe chutiyan aisa, no scene whatsoever. It's all about work. As we talked about sensor fusion, of course, this has to also incorporate assets from the Army and the Navy. Is that sensor fusion happening on some levels? Does it need to be accelerated? Does it need to be? Is the direction at least on, or are we still kind of struggling with that?
I think as we were talking about this friction in these drones, etc. We don't have a choice, frankly. Like previously, it was an idea. Okay, there should be joint operations, there should be network.
But the silos existed between three services.
There was absolutely. I mean, Army has its own training, Navy has its own training, and then obviously we have less number of aircraft. So we have one squadron for maritime attack with Navy. They practice with Navy, but the other pilots, they don't know much about naval operations. So it's not like that any pilot can go and they can just join Navy in an exercise. So there are certain pilots who have trained for that, etc. But now, as I said, what we were talking about our issues in strike, etc. I don't think we have any option, and this is why that we are seeing that things are accelerating in this jointness. Pakistan Air Force has already done this multi-domain operations, Army and Navy, in the past 6 to 7 months. What I have seen from outside, 2 to 3 videos of Pakistan Navy, unmanned surface vessel, USV, then drones, loitering munitions, etc.
I think undersea vessels.
Yeah, undersea also, absolutely. And then in Army, Chief of Army Staff, now CDF Field Marshal Munir, he went to Bahawalpur, and then Gujranwala, the core exercises, there were swarm of drones,
Yeah.
then Tilla range.
Yeah.
Then in Chaman there was some skirmish with Afghan forces. Also drones were used
Drones
there.
were used, yeah.
Now there is a drone command in Army Aviation.
Yeah.
So I think that now maybe somebody thought of it, or maybe it was the need of the time because of all the things we discussed. Things are going very well. Multi-domain operations within Army, within Navy and Air Force, and hopefully see Field Marshal Munir's speech in NDU, and he was completely focused on this joint operations, that okay, there are multi-domain operations within Air Force, but now we want multi-domain operations of Army, Navy, Air Force on
Together.
same data link.
Yeah.
Right, so there should be no problem of, for example, you have Army Air Defense, right?
Radars, yeah.
Yeah, so their radars, their SAMs, and then you have Army Rocket Force Command. Now, Army Rocket Force Command, Army's UAV Command, Army's Air Defense Command, if they are flying in isolation and they are shooting down targets without talking to Air Force, then it's completely
And we cannot
chaos.
afford that
Yeah,
repetition
absolutely.
of,
Yeah, so that's why I think, as I said, that previously maybe it was just an idea. Now after the debrief, this is the need of hour, and you do not have a choice. And so I think that within, inshallah, maybe next year or so, because these things, we don't have to, everything is like Indians, we are just like beating the drum, ke dham dham hum, we are great, etc., etc. Before 7th May till 6th May, nobody knew about PL-15, J-10C, multi-domain operations, network-centric warfare, what they can do.
Fusion, nobody.
Yeah. So now, if these things are going on, you will only know once Indians for their Operation Sindoor 2.0, 3.2.1, 3.0. So we don't like to advertise these things, but as I said, that I can just see this. Okay, fine. So Navy is doing this, Army is doing this. This means that things are going on the right track. Otherwise, whatever is happening, obviously that's a classified information. If you tell everything to Pakistanis, obviously Indians will also hear, right?
So
and then the surprise is
not
over.
Believe, they will say, no, this is all. So I see there are a lot of new inductions happening in the Navy. The Sea Sultan came in, the Lamars. When we talk about fighters supporting, the PF supporting the Navy in terms of strike, in other air forces, they have specialized aircraft which counter for sea corrosion, salt. We're not taking off from aircraft carriers, but still, there are specialized fighters for naval operations. Why do we not have that separation, or do we, and we don't know about it?
Pakistan Navy does not have any fighters, and there was idea that they can buy, because Pakistan Aeronautical Complex is producing JF-17s, they are exporting it. So Pakistan Navy, it can become a customer that, okay, give us 6 or 8 JF-17 Block 3.
Is there a thought about having a separate arm of the naval air arm is mostly flying the Orions and other sensing aircraft?
I mean, there was, but then,
even
as I said, cost benefit analysis, that one is that for optics, like for India, the aircraft carriers, they are operationally relevant. The Deputy of Naval Staff Operations said that, and everything. So, but you have to show
so it's
that
a very expensive decoration piece, like $1 billion.
White elephants, and so they want to show the world that, okay, we have this, right? So in Pakistan, we cannot afford that. Okay, Pakistan also wants to show that we are now becoming a blue water navy like India. So we have this, and we have this, and we have that. So operationally speaking, if I spend money on 6 to 8 fighters and even $30 million, let's say, per aircraft, and then training, and then maintenance, and then like flying, because it's not you have bought the aircraft and they are standing and they will be used for war. You have to fly daily, currency, your syllabus, you have to hone your skills, etc., etc. So you have to think of the life cycle costs, that once you have bought them, now you have to maintain them, you have to fly them, if not daily, at least every second, third day, the pilots have to be current, etc. And then you have to spend the money. The per hour cost, I think it's like $1 million rupees. In dollars, it's like F-16 has, I think, 9,000, 10,000
dollars now.
Yeah, F-35 is quite costly, 38,000 to 42,000.
How much is the JF-17?
JF-17 is lesser than that, around, I'll say 3,000. I don't know $4,000 is how much, but $1 million rupees, just from the top of my head. So, so I mean, it's not that easy. Then you'll have to have your reserves for those aircraft, the weapons, etc., etc. So now, if you have done all that, what are you going to get out of it? You have drones now, USVs, UAVs, you have Sea Sultan long-range maritime patrol aircraft. We have seen the Taimur naval version also. We have seen the Smash naval version, etc. You have Hangor class submarines. So you have 1000 kilometer coastal line, your area of operation is North Arabian Sea, because as I said, we are not going to Arctic or anything, so we are going to defend against a far bigger navy. And if I can defend that without fighters, because Pakistan Air Force has already been doing this with navy for I'll say I think since 1980, because Mirages in number 8 squadron, Heathers, they exocet, and in 1982 82 Falkland War, Argentina was thrashed by British, but a couple of successes that they, HMS Sheffield and another ship that was sunk, that was with that exocet missile. Yes. So those exocet on Mirages, now they have been phased out, JF-17 Block 3. So Pakistan Navy fighter, and like if we talk only about Navy, then maybe yes, I'll say, oh, they don't have fighters. But I said that there is no pact between Indian Navy and Pakistan Navy that, okay, Indian Navy is coming. So
only the Navy can respond.
So now MiG-29K has taken off from INS Vikramaditya, and it will be cheating if it is intercepted by Pakistan Air Force. So now Navy has to like scramble Sea Sultan, and how Sea Sultan will now stop MiG-29K? I mean, like, come on. So I think once you do the cost benefit analysis, the investment on fighters for Pakistan Navy, already talked about meager resources and everything, so I don't think so it's worth it with this, all these new technologies. And when like, I mean, Navy is going to buy 15 to 20 Shepherd 3 drones, and with 10 Sea Sultans, 8 Hangor class, 15 to 20 Shepherd drones with USVs, etc., etc. If they can do their role, why to spend money on fighters and all that? And the money, actually money which we don't have.
You don't have.
If you have maybe option, yes, I can say that Pakistan Air Force has to deploy some aircraft with Pakistan Navy for maritime role. So if Navy has the money, maybe if they buy in future that big JF-17 or maybe J-35, not the naval version, J-35A, and they can fly that from the land, from the runway, they don't need that. Yes, you can always go there, because then Pakistan Air Force will have those resources for other tasks. But for now, I think we don't have the money, and this investment, it doesn't make any sense to me, frankly.
Would you say that our investment and dependence on drone has reduced the workload from our fighter fleet? Maybe we're saving more hours, more flight hours by using drones. Are we taking? Is that exchange possible? Is that that role reversal kind of possible? Can we save some? Our engines can run a bit less, fuel a bit saved.
Very good question.
I'm talking very like household type stuff.
No. Actually, this is a very good question, because you see, aircraft have different roles, right? So once I said that, okay, drones cannot, for now at least,
replace
completely an air-to-air role or etc. But there are many roles. If you do fighter aircraft, for example F-16s, they have DB-110 pod, the camera and all that for ISR, etc., etc. Then the UCAVs, you have to take out high-value targets. Before you used in F-16s in counter-terrorism operations, JF-17 and Mirage. Now if you have an option with Shepherd 2, Shepherd 3, the F-16 doesn't need to fly. That flying, like you said, that hours of the airframe, hours of the engine, everything, etc., etc. So there are many roles in which drones have been used, and definitely it is, like you said, that now those aircraft are not that much under pressure. But some roles like air defense alert, combat air patrol, these kind of things, they are still with the fighters. But I'll say that yes, if you use, and we have been using, by the way, in counter-terrorism and this ISR and this loitering munition for striking, because Pakistan Air Force, Indians also, I mean before 10th, they were sending Heron drones, and they were saying, okay, so we destroyed Pindi Stadium and this and that, etc. We were sending also our loitering munition. So maybe they didn't achieve something strategically, but psychologically for people here also and there also, okay, something is coming from across the border, and I'll say tactically, maybe not, if not strategically, so at least a nuance, and you are like, it's a nuisance that you have to shoot it down. If you
have to associate assets to it, you have to deploy assets for it, you have to,
and then if you shoot it down
allocate resources
if you shoot it, I mean, it's a $10,000 drone, and if you shoot it down with a $1 million SAM, you have lost $90 million actually. So you'll be damned if you shoot it, you'll be damned if you don't shoot it. So that kind of thing is, I think drones are very effective in that. Otherwise, overall, the main, as I said, that J10C versus with PL-15 versus Rafale. In that we will see, because now another thing, AI dogfighter, which has been tested in USA and China, and it has defeated the human, right? So that thing is still, in under development. So I'll say in Indo-Pak scenario, drones are not going to replace it, but maybe 15-20 years down the line, if AI is that good, I'll send a pilot, instead of a pilot, I'll send a drone for this dogfight like 7th May. So if there is maybe Operation Sindoor 43.0 in 15-25, maybe we see drones fighting each other instead of manned aircraft.
We'll have to see. We'll wait for see. Yeah. Let's see maybe if how soon that happens. Before we met up, we were having this discussion about the tactical lift and transport fleet of the Pakistan Air Force. We see this. I don't know if it's over reliance or over focused, being hyper focused on the strike part. But these are assets which are of extreme importance to how the Air Force is functioning and how these special operations happen. We remember the infamous flight that happened in '99 when the nuclear tests were happening. Very famous. The first Sitara Jurat was achieved by Flight Lieutenant,
Flying Officer
Dogar Saab. When and it was it's a story in itself. We should have a discussion on that. It's a complete chapter. Why don't we see any investment or any development in the tactical lift and medium transport fleet of ours? The last time we found that there was some C-130s came in, the IL-78s, these monsters, these big air flight refuelers, they came in. I don't know how much have they been used for tactical lift, but I'm sure they can fill a profile. Why are we not investing in this more? Do we not need more? Are our needs met? What happens when these airframes start phasing out? Because we've been running these quite hard, these C-130s for a long time. What's the next step?
I agree. First of all, the importance of this transport fleet goes without saying. Logistics, chains, etc., future wars will depend upon that. However, again, it's not an excuse, but once the Indians say that you have less strategic depth and we will annihilate you, etc., I say okay, it goes both ways, because you have strategic depth. Yeah, you this place to that.
Absolutely. And you have to maintain that sort of a fleet. Yeah. So C-17s you have to keep your air
100 AN-32s, right? More than this. So
the role of the C-130 is there another candidate that can directly replace the C-130, because that has worked really well for the PF.
Not as good. Some Chinese options, Y9, kind of those turboprop aircraft, but not as good as C-130. So C-130J, Super Hercules, if you can get them, so that is the ideal candidate. Another thing is that obviously, again, with our love-hate relationship with USA, the only reason I think of that we should shift from the Western equipment in transport also is these kind of political reasons, because obviously F-16s now we have substitute J-10C. For C-130 we do not have any substitute. So if there is again some anger and some sanctions, etc. So for that I think we should think of some Chinese or some other equipment, because another option is A400M by Airbus, French, and there is a conglomerate, so European, still Western. Tricky. So IL is again it is in number 10 squadron. You have seen this Airbus 319 taking our prime minister to other countries, etc. So VVIP transport. So that squadron number 10, it is MRTT, multi-role tanker transport. So IL-78 also we use it as a transport aircraft, and generally on long hauls it is preferable. As I said, that aero engine class, that Y jet engine and Y turboprop, etc. So if I am going to Europe or if I am going to USA, I would prefer
a jet, yes, of course.
So also the fueler, obviously C-130 cannot refuel, etc.
If you want to go low and slow, maybe the C-130
absolutely,
might
yeah. So your knowledge is very good, so I was thinking of saying low and slow, but good. So that's the point. Another thing is C-130 turboprop, etc. in mountains. We have a drop site called Peju Drop near Siachen.
Right.
So the C-130 comes in low from the valleys, and then the ramp is opened, and then you drop it with some parachutes. And Pakistan Army, they can just go and that cannot be achieved with a jet powered, maybe even C-17, etc. Then landing on small runways like Chitral, Gilgit,
Skardu.
I mean Skardu is longer, so you have seen.
Also, I think they're extending it now.
Yeah.
With
now it has become again. I'm sure people know, if they don't, that FOB and MOB, so forward operational base and main operational base.
Yeah.
Skardu was an FOB. Now it is an MOB, proper fighter base.
Sir, also while we're on the subject, please tell the audience why Rahim Khan is an FOB and why making a crater and showing it on 24/7 on satellite news channel, why it does not matter. So why is there's only one plane that comes and lands on that bloody airport?
Rahim Khan is FOB, even not FOB satellite base kind of satellite base, but the Indians, they caught us lying that you are a liar, and I said, okay, maybe I'm not an angel, I will lie sometimes, but why on this? So he said, look at this satellite picture. I said, Rahim Khan's runway.
Good job, very good, yes.
So he said, there are 4 hardened aircraft shelters at the end. And I said, so? He said, this means that this is the main operational base of Pakistan Air Force.
Yes.
I was like,
proven.
Karachi airport. On every, you have to deploy aircraft, like dispersal, for example. Indians are very, very happy about the Sargodha runways, crater, etc. So, Alhamdulillah, we also have a mind. So we think of these things that, okay, fine, if the runway is cratered, what am I going to do? So before war, obviously you disperse your aircraft, and then you activate these FOBs. And you have those hardened aircraft shelters, or like those pens at every base, civilian, etc., etc. This does not mean that Rahim Khan is a main operational base. Right? It has nothing to do with Pakistan Air Force, and you have just wasted it. And actually, I am surprised at the senior commanders, vice chief and air chief, who are like taking credit for this. They should have been embarrassed that, oh, we wasted one at that. We could have used it against any other base of Pakistan. But anyway, if
which
they are
brings
happy,
me back to their intelligence. I mean, haven't they seen the traffic patterns of what happens at Rahim Khan? There is, apart from the Sheikh's aircraft, there and the chief minister's twin otter. I have never seen.
I'll be honest. I cannot believe this, that the Indian Air Force chief is so incompetent that he doesn't know that Rahim Khan is not a target, right? But having said that, you have to show your performance. Sir, we have hit 11 bases. Now, let's say, okay, Indians have hit 11 bases, and those 10 bases have air defense and everything. So you have a probability of, let's 50-50 that, okay, maybe it is intercepted or it is going to hit. And there is a base which has no infrastructure, no air defense. So there is 100% probability that whatever you throw at that base, nothing is going to intercept it. And Prime Minister Modi doesn't know that Rahim Khan is a base or not. So to show him that picture with 100% probability that whatever I'm throwing at that base, so I think that is LBDN, look busy, do nothing, sir, I have done this. Otherwise, operationally, strategically,
it was insignificant. There was no consequence. I feel that the anchors felt very good about saying Rahim Khan instead of Bulari. Rahim Khan. I think that was that might have been part of the punch.
I think Bulari was like concede. It was for the success in terms that they have hit Noor Khan. Nothing happened. They have hit Sargodha crater on the runway. They have hit Murid. Alhamdulillah, nothing happened. Jaqabad, empty hangar. The mortars in Bulari, obviously, and that Air Marshal Masood Akhtar also said that there was an AVAX which was damaged, etc. So, I think if on 10th the Indians, there were 11 bases destroyed. So, if I have to give them, that will be that Bulari, which they don't like to speak, but actually the hit which hurt us the most. Sqn Osman, he was my junior, 4 technicians, etc. And obviously aircraft, if we repair it, it will also take money. So that hit was something which was, I'll say, a success in that. Otherwise, hits on bases, yes, absolutely. But
so also, while we're sitting here and being frustrated on why, I mean, this is simple concepts. Could you please make a distinction between a BrahMos hitting an airbase and an airbase being destroyed? These are two very, very different things. Could you please, like, just 2 minutes, sir?
So, I will be embarrassed if I say that I destroyed S-400 battery with one CM-400 AKG missile, because any sane person knows that even a battery, I'm not talking about base, I'll come to the base also.
Right.
S-400 battery, it's a complete ecosystem.
It is not one unit, it's not one radar, it's not one missile battery. There are 4 different types of missiles involved. There's a huge setup, it's like across a huge massive area. So
similarly, now coming to the base is a huge structure.
Yeah. But say if you hit the S-400 radar, the battery is destroyed. You cannot do the battery is not usable anymore.
That's like battery is now unserviceable.
Unserviceable.
So they are blind and now they cannot launch from that, right? But I'll say, okay, I have target. And AVM Aurangzeb, he said in DGSPR's that briefing, it's on YouTube, everybody can we targeted there are even 3 radars, Big Bird radar, Gravestone and Cheeseboard, right? So he said I targeted, and again I'm not going in those details, it was destroyed, not destroyed, there is the evidence, etc. But the point is that with one hit, even it is BrahMos, Scalp, CM-400, you cannot destroy a base, number one. On Sargodha, only runway was hit, right? I have myself landed on parallel taxi track. So in 2011, runway was blocked. My leader, he had hydraulic failure. So the brakes, they are by the hydraulic fluid. So he landed and then he just switched off on runway, throttle idle, and the aircraft just rolled with momentum and it stopped. Because you do not have brakes, so you cannot stop or clear the runway.
This was an F7?
Yeah, F7 PG. And it was like runway was blocked and I was number 2 and I had to land on that parallel taxi track. So 15 years old story.
Yeah.
In 2026,
this is something that you practice. This is you have prepared for this.
I am more afraid of our ORI, the Operational Readiness Inspection team, which comes every year to the base to check the operational readiness than Indians, because Indians maybe they cannot destroy anything. ORI can destroy anything. They'll just go and they'll say, okay, the runway is destroyed, the officer's mess is destroyed, the POL depot is destroyed. Now launch all the aircraft. And the base commander's whole career depends on that. If the ORI fails, he is not going to the next rank, right? So it's more serious than an war with India.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there are contingencies for everything. So the point is that first of all, that runway crater, BrahMos, runway has special, you have anti-runway weapons, they penetrate inside and then they burst, so there is a huge crater, something coming from top, it cannot make that much big crater. Runway repair teams, they just go and repair it, etc. But the point is,
if they've practiced this over and over, it's insane how many times they have to fill in these holes just so that they can do this on a snap.
So one of the ORI teams, he was some, like, generally people say, okay, this is destroyed.
Yeah.
He said, no, bring some explosive.
Destroy it.
Destroy the runway and now fill the crater. So I have seen this. But the point is that once hit on any base is not enough, number one. Number two, the hit was on runway. Runway was not out of action. Even if it was, it could have tried. But telling this to Indians, we have this Pakistan Defense Forum. There are Indians also, there are, some French also, mainly Pakistanis. And I told him that Sargodha runway was not out of action, and he showed me that satellite picture. I said, okay, fine, let's say that satellite picture is 9,000, 10,000 feet, that crater is down the runway. So you only need in modern aircraft 3,000, it's not F7 Mirage that needs 8,000 runways, 3,000, 4,000 maximum, right? So he said that no, it's out of action. Okay, I said, it's out of action, no problem. I'll launch from parallel taxi track. He said, that's not possible. I said, why? He said, it does not have runway markings, it is not a runway, it does not have ILS, it does not have runway. I said, मैंने 2011 में लैंड किया, अभी तो 2026 है. But he said, नहीं. अच्छा, मैंने कहा my last posting was in Jacobabad. I was commanding a quality assurance squadron, and the F-16s, Block 52, the other 11s gone. 2022, and monsoon floods, etc., and then one morning, whole night it was raining, and they said there is a small window, and after that there will be more rain, and flood water was coming inside, and runways one side, Jacobabad, it is down, so there was water on 3,000 to 4,000 feet runway. Whole base, all the F-16s, they said, okay, runway is not now from, let's say 10,000 feet, runway is of 6,000 feet. After you take off roll, if you have to abort for any emergency, you have to stop within 6,000 feet. All completely quality assurance squadron, we have to be there, we call it QSTs, quality shakedown, etc. Our technicians, base technicians, whole base took off and went to Sargodha and all other bases, and for maybe 30 to 40 days we were like, okay fine, so these aircraft are flying from that base, and then they have their own issues that okay sir tester wahan pada hua hai, and then somebody is coming and getting that and all that. So it was like pain for them, but for air headquarter and for the commanders, they said हमें नहीं पता flood आया है, आपका squadron भाई, they should be ready. Point is, just coming back, I'll talk about operational readiness some other time, but that runway thing is, if there is a crater 6 to 7,000 feet down the runway, F-16, JF-17, J-10C, maybe not Mirage and F-7, okay fine, and we don't need that. Yeah, so we don't need them, so I'll not ask them to take off. But any modern aircraft can take off from there. It can land on parallel taxi tracks. So this was not a big deal. I don't know why that runway is so. I mean, they have not seen it before.
Sir, I'm telling you, it's the Rahim Yar Khan that may be the big factor.
Maybe.
Sir, I'm going to ask you a question that might. I already have enemies across the border. This might even make me 20 million, 200 million here also. Now, I have a lot of affection, a lot of love for the Air Force in my heart, and we've grown up against. And I remember the first time when Madam Benazir Bhutto was the Prime Minister, and the first time we saw these glistening silvery silhouettes landing from the air, and these glistening F-16s rolling down the tarmac, beautiful birds, a design unlike anything else, this huge front intake, this the tripods like above the ground slightly, and we have a lot of love for the aircraft. Having said that, do you think that it might be time to move on from the F-16s? Or will there be a time when we, or how soon might that turn come in when we move on from the F-16s, given the untethery relationship we've had with the US, how the pressure amendments hit us, how we were heavily invested in the F-16, we were ordering so many more. Even today, if they offer us, maybe we'll say, please give us more. And then there are multiple blocks that we're operating with many changes. Some might be fitting for some role, some might not be fitting for some role. Do you see the F-16 kind of moving towards the museum side?
Okay, so 200
it's not an easy question.
Yeah, so 200 million enemies.
I'm kind of shaking while I'm asking this.
So point is, I also love F-16, and I would love that. I want to see it fly till 2040 at least. Only problem with F-16, like you mentioned, the Pressler Amendment, that it's not sanction proof, and you are at the mercy of the great. If right now it is Donald Trump, and then I don't know tomorrow who is going to be there.
And so in conflict situations, it's not easy to throw them into the battle. I mean, the previous few times we've kind of seen them not in the kind of, I think 2009, were they even used in the 2025
no,
conflict?
I mean, they were 2025. That's another myth that it cannot be used against India. And so they were used in 2019.
Yeah.
The kills, they belong to F-16 pilots. In 2025, the problem is, it was not political that we cannot use them against India. The problem was simple operational, that their M120C-5, it was outranged by Meteor.
Absolutely.
So I cannot use them as my frontline fighters without an upgrade. I don't know V-kits are coming or not, F-16 Block 72, but APG-83 Activisa Sabre, that scalable agile beam radar, M120D, I'm not even thinking about M260, that's
we'll
a long
see
way. Yeah, so M120D-3 or C-8 at least, and Activisa radar. These two are enough. Then obviously I can use them as a frontline fighter. But now here, if you ask me only as a pilot operationally, that does it make sense, I'll say absolutely. F-16 is an excellent machine. You can, if you can upgrade it, if you can afford it, and if it is sanction proof, definitely you should use it. Only problem is obviously that we have already discussed. If I spend millions of dollars and I upgrade them, and then in 2030-31 somebody changes his mind, and then the support and spare etc. is stopped, then I mean, I have a backup plan that okay fine, if even F-16 is not used, I have J-10C etc. So my national security will not be compromised, but the money is down the drain. So why would I spend those? I mean, somebody says it's $30 million per upgrade, so a cost of around JF-17. So question is that, is it worth it? So if it is sanction proof, then I'll say yes, because instead of buying a new JF-17 Block 3, it is a light combat aircraft, right? its load is lesser. For F-16, you have already like you said, we have investment.
We have the engine shop.
Absolutely.
We have
so why not use that, right? And 30 million is my guess. I mean, we can negotiate and we can bring it down also. But only thing is that so I have given them hundreds of $1 billion, which by the way we are lacking resources, etc. And then 3, 4, 5 years down the line, I think 8 times we have seen sanctions from USA. So apart from that, I am all for F-16. But if there is even some chance that USA can change its mind, and the track record is not good, that is the only reason that I say that maybe yes, F-16s should be retired, and not all. You can just start by cannibalization.
Block 15 and 20.
So you have numbers like 75. Block 52 is good to go, 18 aircraft, right? You can start with your other aircraft which have since 1983, they have a long life, etc. But F-16 Block 52 with AIM 120C-5 as backup aircraft, it is an excellent air, and I have seen it against J-10C also. J-10C has active ESA radar, it just thrashed F-16 in exercises, but once they can sneak in or get some, so the performance of the platform, it is still very, very good. Their engines, I don't know why people like General Electric. Indians don't like GE. I mean,
they have good reasons to.
Yeah, they have
not been
reasons,
very nice to the Indians.
So, but people just say GE engines in F-16, and I said, I have seen Pratt and Whitney. Pakistan doesn't use GE engines, right? I have not seen any F-16s with GE engines. So people who went to Dubai Air Show, etc. So they have witnessed that. But Pratt and Whitney engine, excellent.
This is the F100, right?
F100 220 for MLU and 229
right.
for Block 52's engine is, I was not required to go to the night flying, but OCQA wanted to go to night flying because the plume of afterburner of Block 52.
Yes, the bluish plume, it's just beautiful.
So, amazing. And 229 is the engine used in F-15. So, both are F100, but F100 220 and 229. So, if you have any issue, you have 229 support. Saudi Arabia gave us 10 engines free of the cost, and we said, okay, so once we opened it, there were some cobwebs, and no problem.
No problem, it's
Behreen 10 engines, FCF Kia, they're ready. So, there is another, I was like, as I said, I was in quality assurance, and one of the officers had to go to Anatolian Eagle, and my junior, he was a flight lieutenant, young bachelor, and I have been to Turkey twice, so they said, okay, so you have to go, and I said, no sir, take my land.
Nice.
So he went to Turkey, and then the actual point is, I'm not going to the details what he enjoyed in Anatolian Eagle and all that. So on the way back ferry, Block 52s, they had some issue in the engine, and they landed in, I don't remember, it was Taif or some base in Saudi Arabia. And lucky for us, the Saudis, they have F-15s, 229 engines, so they had all those testers and everything. So we were able to, whatever the fault there was, so it was just like mitigated, everything was fine now, and then it came back to Pakistan. If it was 220, the MLU, because 11 Squadron next year they went, and I was thinking, okay, if they have a problem, then somebody will have to go from Pakistan, because Saudis, they don't know anything about 220. So anyway, these are small anecdotes, etc. But F-16 Block 52 is good to go.
So when a JF-17 pilot goes and sits in a slightly older version of the F-16, doesn't he he gets disoriented? What is all these needles and these old interfaces? I'm used to MFDs, multifunction displays, full color, all the information sensor coming in. What's the experience like?
I have asked this question, and the pilot, he went from JF-17 to F-16, and his first thought was, this is the modern aircraft.
This is the Mehran that you're sitting before.
They were JF-17 except RD-93, Russian engine, ergonomics, glass cockpit, it's flying, excellent. Right? So once you come to F-16, it's like those needles, analog cockpit, etc. So first impression was that Purana Zamana. But once you fly the platform, that is excellent. Now Block 3, obviously, Block 3 guys have an advantage of active ESA. So they have they'll just trash anybody which has active ESA has an edge. PL-15 with active ESA is just lethal. But Block 1, Block 2, once they came head to head with F-16, F-16 1983 old machine, but they can hold their own.
So when I flew the older Mashaks, and the cockpit was very like fiberglass made, cuts made for the throttle and all. Is that how the first initial JF-17s were, or were they, the finish to them was better?
Actually, this is another, like I'll say, a parallel can be drawn between Tejas project and JF-17, that PEF owned JF-17. IEF was like, we are just your customer, you just perfect the product and then give it to us. So the first JF-17 in 2003, it was flown, if somebody just Google it, there are two pilots, Sqn Ldr Rashid Habib and Sqn Ldr Haq, and he's Air Marshal now, Air Marshal Ehsanul Haq, he's Deputy Chief of Air Staff Operations, and he has replaced AVM Aurangzeb as DCS Ops. So in 2003, FC-1 was prototype. I'm sure it was not like something I can look up to for fighter, new fighter. In 2007, two aircraft came and they flew at 23rd March 2007. They were good fighters obviously, but their cockpit was not glass cockpit and all that. Point what I'm trying to make is that then after that, for 3 years, Pakistan Air Force, their pilots and PSC in Kamra, they made a test and evaluation flight, and they flew and flew and flew, and things improved. And by the time in 2010, JF-17 was inducted in there were two squadrons, 16 and 26. A5, that old FT6 and A5, those squadrons were
Q5s.
Yeah, so they were just retired, and 16 and 26, they were initially 16 and then 26. Those aircraft were completely BVR capable, glass cockpit, everything, and then you improve them to Block 2, then Block 3.
That is so good to hear, that we have evolved past our initial challenges and we crossed over, and now we're selling them to Azerbaijanis, and half the world is interested in getting these. Do we have the production capacity to fulfill our internal needs and the external orders as well? I know they're ramping up the production, but are we still at 24 to 25 aircraft a year, or?
I mean, 20 to 24 is more than enough, because right now, again another confusion, Air Vice Marshal Tariq Ghazi said further upgraded F-16, so I don't know that the number is increasing or the aircraft is being upgraded, so more capability. So for now I think PEF has no more orders for JF-17 Block 3. Only export order confirmed is 40 JF-17 Block 3 for Azerbaijan. I think maybe 504 and some tail numbers have been spotted there. So around 8 to 10 have been delivered. So maybe 30 more. So another year or so. And that's frankly, that's no big deal, because even Dassault, the French company, they have backlog of 200, around 20 Rafales. And I think they are producing on average 26. Last year, 23, 24, but 26, 27, and they want to ramp it up, but still.
And we shouldn't even go into the HAL's contracts and their backlog.
And I will not even. That's absolutely.
Whole different chapter.
So they were like, there was a video from that favorite channel that they are producing 24 aircraft and it can be ramped up, etc. So I think 24 to 26, that's a good number for Pakistan also. And because once you have more orders, you can start another production line. But with one, it is okay. I'll give another example of a Turkish contract for 20 Eurofighters. The contract was signed recently, and the timeline of delivery of 20 Eurofighters, it starts with post 2030. I mean 31, 32. So Indian Navy, they signed 26 Rafale M in March 2025, and 37 months for first aircraft to be delivered, so 2028 and then 20. So 3 to 4 years after signing of this, and that's why once the 114 Rafale deal will be signed. So it's not like those aircraft will come overnight.
I mean, that's even the deal signing process is not this, and it's not signed.
No,
it's not signed yet. It's in the paper. So one question that I keep getting is that why don't we upgrade all JF-17s to Block 3?
It's not that simple, because first of all, Block 1 was based on a metal design, carbon fibers, etc. They were introduced later. So again, for my Indian friends, they say that Tejas is far better than JF-17, because JF-17 is based on that metallic design and 40% composite, etc. So so we also have a brain. So we started with that obviously, but we improved with that. And a tragic incident, I think 2011, Squadron Hussain, he crashed, and so there was some issue with initially, and then that was also, I think, improved in block 1. There were 50 block 1. So I think after first 25-30, they changed it, and block 2 was completely different. So I think block 1 upgrading to block 3, it may not be that simple. The investment it requires, strengthening the airframe, composite material, etc., etc. It's better to directly go for maybe more JF-17 block 3. But block 2 can be, obviously, it has that size, it has those composites, etc. You can add more active ESA radars to that, and then obviously we have the source code, because Azerbaijan asked that we want to integrate Turkish weapons. So because we have the source code, so it's easy for us. PL15 integration, PL16 is, I mean, I don't know, once it will come we will see, but till PL15 we can. Only thing is, as I said, requirement for now against India, your frontline fighter is J-10C, more J-10C are coming. There was, I think, initial plan of 36, people say it can go to 72. In my humble opinion, the plan is still for 2 squadrons. So at 30.
2 additional, or?
No, total 2.
Total
so
2
30, 36, 40, I don't know exact numbers, but again, Sir Tariq Ghazi just said that more J-10C are coming. So for now, I think 2 squadrons are guaranteed. If the number is increased, then we'll see. So 2 squadron of J-10C with F-16s and JF-17 block 1, block 2 in secondary tier, and JF-17 block 3 with active ESA and PL-15. So Indian Air Force has active ESA equipped radar only like 36 Rafales. Now you can minus 4, 5, 6, whatever. And if you write a letter 36, then that means that they have 36. So even if they have 36,
so the maintenance, they have asked for 36 maintenances.
So
hence proved, sir, that there was no Rafale loss.
Absolutely. So no Rafale was lost, and even the one accepted by the French Air Force chief
and reported by Martin Baker.
And BS001. So even if it was 35, nakal ke liye bhi akal ki zarurat hai. So I would have said, okay, fine, they are saying 1 lost and 35. 36, that's not possible. Anyhow, the point is they have 30 whatever active ESA. We have 20 plus 30, 50 right now. More will come. So in active ESA PL-15 frontline fighters against Indian Air Force till now, we are good to go. These things, these plans are for future. Once they will have 114 Rafale deal, Tejas Mark II, I don't know, once it will start coming, then maybe MK, whatever, 5, 6, 7 years down the line, whatever. So I am thinking, I'm talking like in start we said that we are not going to just report news that there was a
very
crash.
Optimistic at 5-6 years, very optimistic.
I mean, we have kicked them so hard, so I just wanted to just maybe placate them. So don't worry. So maybe you will get MCUT design in 6 to 7 years. Anyhow, so the point is that once we said that we are not here to report news that Su-57 crashed, this happened, that, etc. The future. Once we say, then I say, okay, fine. Do I need block 2 upgrade to block 3? Or if I am good for next 3 to 4 years and I can use that money for whatever project.
Also, sir, please correct me if I'm wrong. The block 1 and block 2 have different roles. There are different roles that we can use the block 1 and block 2s in. I mean, we don't need block 3 for every situation, right?
Actually, we don't need block 3 apart from air-to-air role. The S-400 mission was undertaken by block 2.
Block 2, yes.
So all the roles, obviously air to ground, etc. All those aircraft can form them. If I am going for a strike mission, a standoff like S-400, that mission, I can easily use block 1, block 2. There is absolutely no problem. The only thing is that obviously block 3 has active ESA and PL-15. So for frontline combat air patrol, sweep missions, air-to-air engagements, once with J-10C, I need obviously JF-17 block 3 with that, because active ESA is something different. Passive electronically scanned array, they are very good, but the problem is that they have SD10, PL12. Range is Chinese, they tell the range less than actual, so they say it is 70 kilometers. I think it is 100, but anyway, even it is 100.
Let's just keep it at 70. We'll go by the numbers.
It doesn't matter, because obviously then Meteor has the edge. M120C-5, obviously Meteor has the edge. So they are definitely on secondary tier. And again, the numbers of except Rafale 36 or whatever, Rest 258, 57 Su-30 MKI, 44 Mirage 2000, 50, 55 MiG-29s, 37, 38 MiG-29K, 100 Jaguars. I'll not even count Tejas. I don't know when they are going to come. Hundreds of those aircraft, whole of the Indian Air Force, except 2 Rafale squadrons. My Block 1, Block 2 and F-16s with C-5 and ST-10, right? They are either better than them or at par. The Ldr missile and all that, everything. So that's the main thing, that even in Indian Air Force, once you are comparing my aircraft with their best aircraft, right? So except that Rafale plus Meteor combo,
which is again very limited numbers, cannot be dispersed everywhere.
And for 2 front war, they have one squadron in Hashimara, the Shiliguri corridor, and this eastern, their Nagaland, and they have all those issues there. One S-400 battery is there in Sikkim and all that. So Pakistan can pitch 100% of their assets against India. Indian Air Force cannot pitch 100% against Pakistan, right? So even if they can pitch 36 Rafale, it is still, number is 36, 35 rather, for it cannot be 36. So 2 squadrons, 17 squadron in, obviously it is in Ambala, so it is already in Western Air Command. Hashimara, they flew from Hashimara, and 101 squadron aircraft also joined. Simple point is that actually whatever metric you use, active visa, number of aircraft in Indian Air Force versus Pakistan Air Force is better. Other air without active visa and BVRs, again Pakistan Air Force has Block 1, Block 2, and F7 and Mirages I am not even counting, and they should not count their Jaguars, but they are very happy with its Darren 3 upgrade and Rampage.
And the
active visa Ultra radar and Rampage Israeli long range standoff missile, etc., etc. So if they want to count their 6 squadrons of Jaguar, then I'll count my 6 squadrons of F7 PG and Mirage also. But actually, as professional pilot, let's keep 3rd generation aircraft out of this now. We are dinosaurs, so we can only give you analysis. Actually, 4th generation, 4.5 generation, that is the name of the game. And in that, Alhamdulillah, in air to air, there is absolutely, I have no doubt that if a Su-30 MKI and F-16 or JF-17 Block 2, they are coming head to head. We have seen in 2019, they can just say, okay, it has this much hard points, this and that. There is something called RCS, radar cross section. Physics does not care, you are Indian, you are Pakistani, you are Israeli, it is what it is. So if you are lugging 12 hard points and this much 35,000, 6,000 kg, that maximum takeoff weight, so I'm going to shoot that flying buffalo out of the sky. And
you can't hide that. There's no hiding.
And you do not have long range BVR. Right? You do not have active visa radar. And for 10 years now, they were okay, Uttam, active visa, Virupaksha. And now even I am bored, and I said, laga bhi lo yaar.
So speaking of hiding, we know this, the buffalo and the cow theory of the Su-31, Su-30 MK. Now, PF has made some quite generational leaps in electronic countermeasures, in jamming technology, in blinding squadrons. Now we've had these blinder squadron with the Falcon 50s for a long time now, and now we're hearing that the Hava SOJ is going to come in and replace them. Is it going to replace the Falcons, or is it going to enhance their capability? And is it going to be, if it is replacing them, would it be the capability be enhanced, or is it going to be the same role, just newer airframes?
No, capability is definitely enhanced, because those aircraft, they are like, I think the squadron was raised in 1988. Previously it was with RB-57 in so 1964. It fought in 1965 war for reconnaissance. Then 67, 68 it was disbanded.
This with the Canaberals? With the Canaberals is serving this?
RB-57F, the
B-57s, okay.
B-57 bomber.
Right, but there was a recon.
It was a version, RB-57F. So same airframe, but with reconnaissance, and only 2 aircraft. We had RB-57F, and we were doing post-war damage. So in October 61, the war was over in September. In October, it was doing some reconnaissance, and they fired SA-2, and it was 67,000 feet plus. So it so it detonated in the vicinity, and the aircraft was like, it landed back, but it was damaged beyond repair, and so that squadron is 67, 68. Only 2 aircraft, one was damaged, so finally they just.
You're also flying Fokkers at some point for aerial reconnaissance, no?
We had Fokkers, and famous crash of
Fokkers.
Air Chief Marshal Musaf Ali Mir was also in Fokker. But mainly these aircraft are like also trying to make do ad hoc type.
So we always, this is pretty much doing all
but
our lives.
But not Falcon 20. They are proper electronic warfare aircraft. And in 2019, Wing Commander Abhinandan's soft kill was awarded to that squadron. They were completely jamming the radio and avionics of all that, and then he was shot down by Wing Commander, now Air Commodore Noman Ali Khan. So basically, that squadron now aircraft life also and the equipment, because again simple physics, there is spot jamming and then there is barrage jamming, right? So you want to jam on maximum area, right? But the problem is that in airborne systems you need battery or energy, etc. So
it needs a lot of power to produce that. So in jet engines they have that kind of power they can produce. When turboprops it's slightly less. So the more power you give it, the further the radar beam can track and jam.
So even if you compare the platforms, Bombardier Global 6000, which is Hawa SOJ is based on that, and then this Falcon 20, this French company, the Rafale and all that, they are now making, I think, Falcon 900 or something very advanced. So basically, even if you compare the platforms, the power of the engines, the life, because engine also gets sold with time. It's not that simple that okay, after 20-25 years it is producing same thrust. By the way, that is the same problem with Jaguars also. Their engines are
very derated. They cannot even take off with half their payloads, and in high altitudes it's even worse. So
they tried to like get new engines from Honeywell, but I don't know, Indians are so rich, but they said it's like too costly, and then they dropped it. The engine is beyond its life, so that's another story. But the point is
they're still buying old airframes. I think
nine from So the desperation, and I mean we have also done that, but we are poor. You are not like us. You are Vishwa Guru, but still, anyways, 20 airframes from Oman and 9 now from UK. And UK still has more, by the way. So if they decide that Tejas is still not coming,
I think they might have to. I think that the UK is keeping it for them maybe for 50%.
I've only thing I'll say here is that my sympathies with the pilots. And
absolutely, this is one point that we have agreed this over. Every time a pilot loses a life outside war, in training and in normal flight operations, it cuts to the core. It's like, why? This is a waste of life. This is a waste of so much effort.
Actually, I mean, Indian trolls, I'm sure Indian pilots are not like that, but they are making fun of our martyrs, Usman Osman, Yusuf, etc. So what, even the small kid, DJSPR said that they were making fun of those small kids, though they died in Bahawalpur, and they said they were terrorists, all that nonsense. But having said that, I saw Wing Commander Namash Syal, the Tejas crash. His wife, I don't know, she was a Muslim. Her name was something like Muslim, but any other it
doesn't matter if
it doesn't matter. I should have
life. So he has children.
It was.
So I mean, the first thought was not, oh my God, a Tejas crash. Was like our thoughts and our prayers are with the family of the bereaved. It was not a very accomplished pilot, and there was no need for
a Jaguar crash. I think last year. Very smart guy, flight lieutenant. Like kind of a hero, and I think 20 days before his marriage, and his fiancée, she was like crying and baby tu kyun nahi aaya mujhe lene, and his father was like aklota beta tha bahut like, and I mean so that breaks your heart obviously. So I mean Tejas crash.
The current pattern first was the MiG-21s. Now it's with the Jaguars.
Airframe, I mean,
this is a country which is the 6th largest economy, Vishwa Guru, Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat and all. I mean, how can they put so little value on human life and their own lives? These are lives that they've spent millions upon millions of dollars on thousands of hours of training and hardcore work.
I think the system, the bureaucratic, the babu, again Indian analysts, they call them babus, and they say that this is the problem, but anyhow I can only sympathize with them.
Jaguars, coming back to the SOJ.
So I mean it's like SOJ, Hawa SOJ will come. Most probably we are not going to directly retire the Falcon 20s, DA-20, but there I think I'll say role will be limited. Mainly Hawa SOJ will be the electronic force, but however, the things have changed now that the number of aircraft. We talked about drones, ground-based jammers, satellite jamming.
Also with these SDRs coming in, the software-defined radios, I'm sure is it been integrated in the same amount in the same time in the Indian Air Force as well? Because we're reliant quite heavily on these SDRs.
Actually, Indian Air Force, they are, as Sir Aurangzeb said, they are slow learners. I think the pilots, they asked for it, but the government did not approve the SDRs. They came very late. Now they have Spectra in Rafale. That is something very good. I don't know why it failed or whatever the problem. Maybe it was with the integration, because if you do not have the source code, right, and you are using Spectra, and Spectra doesn't know that this 230 MKI, so who is enemy, and so they are jamming everything which is around them. It's just a guess. So otherwise, Spectra should have given them some warning. Secondly, as I said, that now things are changing rapidly, because like you said, there is some Meyer, then counter Meyer, then counter Meyer. So you cannot rely on a technology of 1990s, because things are changing. So this is something another like I'll say advantage in Hawa SOJ, that it's not the same, that okay, there was jamming equipment in DA-20 and now there is the jamming or electronic warfare equipment in Hawa SOJ. They may be like sky and ground, I'll say, that it can jam a large band of frequencies. Now you have frequency hopping. If you are jamming one frequency, it hops to another. So you have to get your countermeasures according to the latest, whatever the advancement in technology, and also futuristic, that 5 years down the line, what are they going to do? So I think maybe because we have talked about Qizil Elma also, that maybe 2028, 29, they are going to induct more drones from Turkey, making their own, etc. So you can make like kind of a mesh, that there are 4 drones flying here with electronic warfare equipment. They are SOJ, small SOJs, and then there is one here. And if somehow you can, again, physics teachers can tell me better, that there is constructive interference and destructive. So if somehow their small 4 are constructed and then it becomes one large wave and it can do barrage jamming, etc. If this is possible, and we know that 3-4 years down the line we're going on this path. So one Hawa SOJ with maybe 400-500 kilometers on towards south, 400-500 towards this, in the center of Pakistan, it's that, and it's controlling all those. And it's just a thought. If somebody's not thought of it, you can maybe research on that also. So, but the point is that things are in this non-kinetic domain, they are moving very fast. So if the number is less, somebody thinks that okay, you need more. For example, there were 3 or 4 DA-20s, now there is only one Hawa SOJ. I think that the people sitting, they have calculated this, that because of these factors, in 1990s or maybe even in 2019, we did not have Trident ground-based jammers, MIGAS, satellite jamming, cyber, space command, nothing. So the only thing which was going to jam them was our EW aircraft. So even 3-4 is less for whole Pakistan. But now once you have number of sensors or these everything, whatever, on drones, on ground-based, etc., maybe in dozens. So one aircraft which can control them, I think it's more than enough. Strategic depth of Pakistan is less, but area of responsibility is also less. It's not like I have to. The Indians, they say you like trash talk of our great Su-30 MKI, and but it is from Kanyakumari to Himachal, it can go like this and that. And
well, we don't have that distance to cover.
So I thought okay, fine. So only our like eastern border. And then again from Indian occupied Kashmir till and then Arabian Sea it's another theater. So I don't think, because in, for example, electronic warfare in Arabian Sea, you say previously Pakistan Air Force had to fly one DA-20 towards that side. Now if Navy has their own electronic warfare equipment on drones or on USVs or on ships, etc., and they say okay sir, south hum sambhal lenge, so I don't have to worry about southern theater. These things like in joint operations, I think one number, I don't know, maybe enough, maybe not.
So speaking of non-kinetic warfare, you must have heard the Indians very vehemently exclaiming and being surprised at the fact that there were Chinese engineers on ground helping Pakistan during Operation Sindoor. Actual Chinese were at the ground, and I'm thinking that whenever you buy some equipment from anywhere, if I have to buy something from Oracle, it's not going to be surprising if I have some person from Oracle sitting here. Just like there must be Dassault engineers supporting the Rafale operations, there might be MiG people sitting in Russia. I'm sure there were Americans in Pakistan supporting F-16s. So where was the surprise?
There were Israelis.
They were definitely
in India.
Absolutely, yes.
We are not crybabies that Israel was supporting. This is how it is, as you said.
But it's normal.
Yeah. I give you example of Shahbaz base, Jacobabad, and there is TST, Technical Support Team, not US military. Americans, Lockheed Martin, contractors, engineers. There is Chinese TST, right? And initially it's okay. French, once Mirage came, there were French here, etc., etc. AW139 once it came, there was one Australian and one British. They came to Sargodha and different bases, and they were like contracted by Leonardo company, the Italian company. So there can be anybody in any country for any contract.
First of all, I don't get what was this huge hue and cry was about. But secondly, they said that Pakistanis were using Chinese satellite imagery. Firstly, from what my research has been, that was not the case. Secondly, Pakistan in the past year has made some serious advancements, serious development, and we've seen more satellites go up in the sky from Pakistan than, say, in the past 50 years. How does that factor into our operational readiness in the operations of PF, and how does this affect our battle assessment?
So if I ask anybody from Pakistan or India that, do you have any idea that on 7th, the night of 7th, how many satellites of Pakistan Air Force were in orbit, for example? Because I also didn't know myself. I left Air Force, and then Cyber Command, Space Command, NASTAP, the current Chief of the Staff, he has a vision about all that. So after this, in August, I visited NASTAP and NEOC, National Integrated ISR Air Operations Center, the whole control room, etc. And then, so there we were told that there are 2 satellites of PEF. I'm not talking about Sparko and all that. So, and PEF has...
These are military satellites, not hybrid and dual role.
And their control was not with Sparko or anything. PEF was controlling them. Their link was completely with us. One was launched from China, because we don't have SLV, that satellite launch vehicle, that obvious. And one was launched from SpaceX, the Elon Musk guy. And we, I mean, like any customer, I said Pakistan Air Force is a customer, we have made this satellite and we want to launch it. And he said, okay, this is whatever there was the criteria and demands, and then that satellite was launched from USA. So first of all, Pakistan Air Force had its own satellites.
Can we just put this somewhere? Can we put in bold letters? Because for some reason this is not penetrated in mind.
Again, once we have said that Indians should make up their minds that they don't care about Pakistan, and Pakistan is not even in the same league, or we are their peer competitors. So they should decide, because there are many who say you are lying and you have not hit anything, because the Chinese satellites would have given you those pictures, etc. And so what is it actually? Were the Chinese helping us or not? So please make up your mind. Simple thing is, Pakistan has the ability, obviously not at that level. We jo Beidou, GNSS, basically GPS, GNSS, Galileo of Europe and GLONASS of Russia. India is also
Navik also.
Navik, and maybe 4 to 6 satellites are not working, but still Navik. And Pakistan does not have that. I concede that point. But ISR satellites, they are no big deal, first of all. Secondly, I have other options also apart from satellites. I mean, 20 years back there were no satellites. Are good for intelligence and everything. If I have human intelligence or cyber or anything, I don't know where is S400 from my satellite. For example, there is no satellite, right? But I can hack into your system, and I know exactly what are the coordinates of those S400. So the aim is achieved. Now about BDA, that battle damage assessment, that you should images show this and that, etc. That is something completely different, because any guy who has studied about RS and GIS, remote sensing and geographical information system, they tell you that if you show those pictures, anybody can learn from it who knows the art, that okay, this is the satellite, this is its spatial resolution, this is its temporal resolution, whatever. I'm not my subject, but still. So there can be a valid reason that I have satellite photos, I know I have struck this, but for whatever reason I don't want to release them. And again, if you say that no, until and unless you don't release them, you are lying, we don't trust you. Oh, no problem, I don't want your trust. But the thing is that very simply, China has not directly involved itself in any conflict. They have $155 billion trade with India.
Yeah.
They will simply
and increasing,
say, and if they are so much interested, they should give us free J-10C, one more Squadron and J-35, and they don't give you anything free. I mean, they are Iron brothers, they are our friends, but still, the business is business
and cup of tea is cup of tea.
But the point is for the Indians, that if you think that China is so focused on destroying India by using Pakistan, then China should give us some more leverage. So we have a normal relationship of alliance. They don't help us directly during the conflict. Obviously, I mean, once we will pay them the money, they will give us anything. They will give us source code. Biggest, again, the strings attached with the Americans, that the Chinese are not stingy like Americans, that okay, now you have given us money and we have given you product.
But it's not as transactional as the Americans.
So Americans have they have so many conditions that you will use it like this, you will use it, and if you don't do this, we will just stop that. With Chinese, it's not like anything. They were okay, fine, we are giving you this, and this is the source code JF-17. This is now J-10C. This is our engineers like this. You want PL-15? Okay, here's PL-15 integrated with this. Now same deal. Like once everything is whatever it's going on, I don't know. This year, next financial year, once it is finalized that this is the model of payment, we will give you the money, you will give us the J-35, PL-16, PL-17, HQ-19, whatever. So it's all about resources. Otherwise, Chinese, they want trade relationship with India also, and they don't want to come directly between the conflict of Pakistan and India. Anyways, Indians, they will say, okay, actually we were fighting 3 countries. So we were fighting Pakistan, China and Turkey. I said then we were fighting 5 countries: India, Israel, USA, France and Russia. So you have US equipment.
And Israel, sir. Israel also.
Israel, 5 total 5 countries. So there were, I mean, we know there were Israelis, and I think they were again, I was like, they will ask for evidence, and I am not the.
But I think anyone knows. I mean, the Israelis were there. There's
Israelis were even flying those drones. Or this is what I was saying, that okay, they will say okay, evidence though. But it is clear, we have the evidence, we have the proof that Israelis were, and it's okay. I mean, they have bought 120.
Why shouldn't they?
So they have bought those drones, and they are okay. We cannot fly them. Like we are not that Vishwa Guru. So please come and fly them for us. So okay, they say okay, pay this much money, and their contractors, they will go and they will fly them. Elta and this Elbit, these companies, their Hermes drones, which
Rafael,
Rafael. I mean, this is their Hermes 900 drone, which is made by Tata Drishti something. Drishti 101 or what, it crashed recently, so second or third crash. So I think they had 5 and 2 of them have crashed. So Israelis, maybe they want to get back those drones because they are getting a bad name, but anyways, it's up to them.
Sir, honestly, I could just keep you here and have like 5 hours of discussions, because everything you're saying, this is so refreshing. It's really encouraging the way you talk about the Air Force and how passionately you have your thoughts. We will let you go only on the condition that you will be back, and we'll have tons of more questions for you. Thank you so much, sir, for coming in. Thank you so much for giving us so much time. If you have any message to give out to the young people, to the people who are maybe, I know you have taken a lot of time and effort into telling people how to get into the Air Force, what is the process of becoming a GDP and all that. But sir, anything else that you would like to share?
Always say something. I request, rather not say, especially to the youth, that please get back to reading books. Please.
Guys, reading, there's no alternative. Reading books, there's no alternative to education. I keep hearing this thing that nowadays it's only skill, these degrees don't matter anymore. Bro, they most definitely do. We are on the hiring side of the things now, and we've been through this journey of skills versus education and degrees. Bro, there's no alternative, and there will be a door closed every time you say, I won't do my bachelor's, I won't do my master's, I won't go for my MPhil, I won't go for my doctorate, there is no stopping. The moment you stop reading, the moment you stop learning, you stop living. It's like that bad. So thank you so much. It was a true honor and a privilege to have you on the show. And I would love to have more of you here.
Definitely.
And we'll keep discussing and we'll keep collaborating. And hopefully we can come up with more stuff that you will see us doing together around the world and hopefully around Pakistan as well. If you found this interesting, if you found our discussion and if you want more of these to happen, tell us in the comments. We read your comments very carefully and we design the show around that. Stay tuned, stay alert, keep your radar mode on, and I'll see you all next week.